Hi, I'm Brooke Boney. I'm a journalist, and this is how you get my job. Budget breakdown and NRL coach fine. Good morning, it's Brooke Boney with Triple J News. Well, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, which is a very, very early time to start, of course, but I'll have a coffee and then we're on air in about an hour at 6 o'clock across the whole country. So we've got a little bit of preparation to do. So the boys are already on air, and then I'll go in and I'll read some news headlines for them. A typical day for a journalist is waking up early, coming into work, reading all of the newspapers so you know what's happening in Africa, you know what's happening in England, and you also know what's happening in Bathurst. All of these news stories come in from around the world, and then you decide what you want to tell people about when you put your news bulletin together or when you put your story together. Okay, so I'm just going into the studio to read the news now, which happens on the hour, every hour. And this goes out on Triple J, which goes out all around the country.
You're listening to Ben Lehman Brooke, and it is 8:30.
Time for the news.
Good morning, it's Brooke Boney with the Triple J News Update. One of the things that people don't realise is when you become a journalist or a newsreader is you have to do a whole bunch of training for your voice. So my voice when I just speak to you like this is just normal, right? But then when I have to read the news, it goes very serious like this. Former Prime Minister Bob Hawke has been admitted to hospital. So it's quite different. And we have to do a lot of training to make it sound deeper and to make it sound very proper. So when I first started, I used to get really nervous because when I turn this microphone on, there are nearly 1 million people around the country who can hear what I'm about to say. And so what I used to say to myself right before I turned the mic on is, you can do this, you know, I've got you, you can do this, you know you can do this. And I think that that's the thing that you guys have to remember as well, is that it doesn't matter what the job is that you want to do, is that you can do it. As long as you put in the hard work and you've got a little bit of support, you can do it. There are so many things that I love about my job. But one of the best things is that I get to talk to people, find out what their stories are, and then tell other people. You get to help people who might feel like their stories aren't being told.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Let's do it. The hardest part of my job at the moment is waking up very early. So I probably have a bedtime that's very similar to you guys, even though I'm a lot older than you. If you want to be a journalist, then I think that you know that you have to work very hard. So I went to university and I studied a communications degree and I majored in journalism. And while I was studying, I did lots of volunteer work, and then I did lots of cadetship programs and lots of work on weekends and very early mornings. The most important thing about being a journalist is that you're curious and that you're hungry for more information and that you love sharing information with others. I'm one of those people who, if you tell me a great story, then I'll go out and I'll tell 5 other people your great story, because that's the sort of thing that I love, sharing things and making people happy. My top 3 tips for getting my job is that you have to love talking to people. You have to really care about the world around you and why the world is the way it is. And you have to be able to work really hard. And that's all the latest on Get My Job.